Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, August 30th, 2021 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I use my mind to focus on my flow. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I want to do a little week overview, although it's kind of a quieter astro week, which is probably good. Um, but I feel like we're going to kind of like start the week kind of feeling my last post, which was a write up. Hopefully you saw that. The song that was coming through the whole time I was writing that post, all I could remember was like just how the song began. Where's your head at? That is so appropriate for the next little bit. And I do this because a little bit extended, right? So we are in Virgo season, which does definitely activate the mind. And we actually have Mercury tonight, Sunday night, that I'm recording this, not till late. In fact, tomorrow, I think it'll be tomorrow even here where it shifts into Libra. We have Mercury preparing to go into the shadow for retrograde. We're actually, by the end of this week, going to have Mercury going into our shadow period, which is funny because like I just feel like I just went through a massive Mercury retrograde. That Uranus retrograde, literally every single one of Joe's flights had some kind of delay, cancellation, etc. And it was so much retrograde energy. So we are preparing with Mercury going into the sign of Libra for a really long stint of Mercury in Libra, and it feels very, very, very important that we dig into this energy. So we're really working into that this week. I think like this week is like basically the only time of Mercury like strongly direct in Libra where we can really understand these energies before we start really processing deeper lessons with it. And speaking of deep lessons, the other thing that we're working through this week is Dark of the Moon. So we'll have the moon in prep for a new moon that'll be next Monday. But we're going in, we're going into the depths. We're going into the deep and dark. So keep that in mind and check your mind, right? Where's your head at? I also want to say that there's this feeling of overwhelm that I'm feeling. I feel like I'm putting like a heavy backpack on my shoulders, but like it's not like a regular backpack. This is all the mind of Mimi, right? It's not a regular backpack. It's a backpack that's like carrying Saturn. I think if you are also feeling that overwhelmed feeling for this week ahead, that would be some Saturn energy. We do have the Sun in conjunct Saturn tomorrow. Tomorrow meaning Tuesday. And I'm feeling like that in conjunct is like Virgo energy already in prep. Like, okay, Saturn's coming. We have to make it good for Saturn, So if you are feeling that overwhelm, kindly take Saturn off your shoulders and resume your normal activities. You don't have to carry Saturn. So hopefully that makes sense to some of you. I'm sure that it does. So let's dig into today, Monday, the 30th. Okay, so Mercury in Libra is definitely the biggest thing. I'm going to dig into that. I want to dig some of this other energy first. We actually are starting off with the Sun square the Moon. So Sun in Virgo, Moon in Gemini. It's the million monkey walk, million monkey march. There we go. Monkeys everywhere, mental energy and everywhere. Check your boundaries, check your monkeys, and keep working your mind back to your personal sense of flow, to your holistic sense. Are you checking in with your body? Are you checking in with your soul? And how much of the world stuff are you taking on right now? With this energy, Sun in Virgo, Moon in Gemini, we may be feeling that. We also may be feeling a little conflict within ourselves with this energy, but hopefully this will like lower down, lessen a little bit. The Moon then goes on to connect with both Saturn and Venus. So these are both trines. These are helpful energies. So air signs look for connection. communication. So if you, again, are feeling that overwhelm, where can you communicate? Where can you have that connection? Where can you find that support? Moon in Gemini connecting to Venus is definitely looking for some level of support. And if you can't find that connection and support, with a friend or contact, I suggest you go talk to the flowers, go talk to the trees, get yourself in nature, get yourself in a space of beauty, because that can also help you feel uplifted, held, taken care of. Moon connecting to Saturn. There's that Saturn energy. This isn't quite that inconjunct, but still we have that. This connection feels more like ideas, and this may be also feeding into the overwhelm. Just so many ideas potentially processing with this connection. Remember that with an idea, it doesn't necessarily have to be done right now, but it is also good to bring it down and ground it into the physical. This is a good day maybe to have a notebook to write down. I'm not always about to-do lists. I prefer to allow lists, but that may be also helpful in and through this energy to align with what you would like to allow and align with in your life today. Mercury in Libra. This is going to be, a long lesson that we are going to be working. So, Mercury is going to be in Libra for quite a while. It's not even going to go retrograde until the 27th of September. So, Mercury usually zips through a sign in like 3 weeks, sometimes just over 2 weeks, in fact. So, we're getting basically, I think, 2 months in Libra. I didn't look up the final date, but 2 months of Mercury in Libra, maybe just even slightly longer than that. So we're really meant to dig into this lesson. So first thing, Mercury, mind and communication. Libra, harmony, beauty. It feels, what is that? The beginning of Moulin Rouge, the bohemian life, like truth, beauty, love, that whole thing. That's what I'm feeling with this energy. A return to that, a remembering of that. Just like Venus in Libra reminds us how important pleasure is in our life, Mercury in Libra reminds us that aligning with that is important. Now, Mercury in Libra, there's good and bad. I don't really like good and bad, but good and bad on both sides. Mercury in Libra can help us strive for harmony in communications. And gosh, sometimes, here's an interesting tip for me. I have a fascination, and I think it's because it's kind of like the pulse, like a larger, big screen pulse of what's going on in the world, of what's going on in Hollywood. So I'm always checking out stories and everything, what's happening in Hollywood. I love Dumois, if you know what that is. I love all of that. It's so interesting to me. But what is even more fascinating than the actual stories is how people will communicate in the comment section. The trolls of the internet. The trolls of the internet are your everyday neighbors who somehow on the internet feel so safe to write horrific things that they would probably not say in person. Mercury in Libra is enough of that. Are you kidding me? These are other humans that you're talking about. This is not okay, right? So Mercury in Libra reminds us to find harmony in our communications, that, the stars, they are people too, whatever it is. The politicians, as much as you may not like them, people too, right? Unless they're not, but, whatever. I believe in kindness, personally. So, anyway, there's that. However, on the flip side, Mercury in Libra may not necessarily say the thing that needs to be said because harmony, right? And so, Mercury in Libra sometimes holds back that truth. And what our job is to find balance in being able to speak up and be at harmony within yourself based on your communications, right? I guess that's probably one of the goals of this is, can you find harmony within yourself, knowing when to speak up, and also knowing when, well, I know my thoughts may be quite snarky, I mean, here's the thing. Like, okay, so Chrissy Teigen, she got in trouble for this, right? Like, she got canceled for it. I will say that these things that I'm seeing people write in the comments are so much worse, and these are the same people that are like, cancel her for saying the things. We all got to check ourselves, right? We got to check how we are living with and responding with the laws that we hold, or the laws and standards that we hold everybody else to. And check our own, because sometimes we will hold ourselves to very high standards that are also not bearable. So again, all of this is finding balance. Balance in the mind, balance in communication, remembering balance in alignment with pleasure, allowing ourselves to connect with pleasurable communications, pleasurable reading, whatever, pleasurable conversations, connecting with that to find that balance. This is like a really huge lesson for the world, because I think our pendulum is swinging wildly in this regard. You know, there are some who are just, you know, going crazy with it, and others who may have important things to say that are kind of shut down from that. So check yourself. Where do you need this lesson in your life? I can find mine on both sides, I think, you know. So check in with yourself. How can you balance this, and how can you come into a place of harmony with yourself in regards to your communication, in regards to your mind? And this is going to be that very long lesson with Mercury and Libra, which we will dig into daily. So let's look at these cards for this week ahead. Ooh, speaking of Mercury and Libra, getting beyond illusion, really checking in with our mind in these things, and not just necessarily believing what we see, what we read, hook, line, and sinker. And why do we want this? Harmony. What are we here for? Beauty. What are we here for? Harmony. Remembering this, bringing ourselves back to this place. And again, especially if you are feeling the overwhelm. That being said, we are definitely doing some deeper work this week. This card, this adventure card, always feels like I got some work to do kind of card. So there's definitely some work to be done in the 3D this week. But you know what? Spirit's like, don't worry, you got this. Again, if you're feeling the overwhelm, see what energy you can take off. See what energy you can ground into the earth. Final card, some rebirth. Staying true to our innocence, staying true to our heart, and not just getting swept up in some of the narratives that we can get swept up into. So I'm going to leave that here for now. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and stay curious. Namaste.